Hope I hope I am audible to everyone, right? Yes,
Yes, sir. It's
uh,
clear, clear.
it's clear, right? So I will present my PPT, and so there are three sessions today by the organizer. The first one, which talks about classification and regression, then time series analysis. So based on the time, no, based on the time, no, we will discuss some topic. You may be leaving some topic, but don't worry about it. Whatever we are going to learn, you have to learn properly. That is my ultimate objective, right? That you will see. Then the second session will have a neural network. Then the evening will have the weather forecasting, right? So the idea is like this. It's not only a theoretical session. We are going to have a hands-on session also. Okay, just briefly, before going to my session, I would like to know, Mr. Kumar sir, Mr. Kumar sir, or
Yes,
any
sir.
one of
Yes,
the
sir. Tell me.
faculty from the
Sir,
institute,
tell me, sir. Yeah.
yeah, just I would like to know what are the things that are covered quickly. Whether they had a topic on classification, no, right? So far,
No, sir. Not yesterday. Machine learning introduction over.
okay,
There little bit classification is covered.
okay. By Chandramodi, yeah, Chandramodi sir.
Chandramouli, sir. Please, all of you mute your mics. Some disturbance is coming.
Sir, the first day was it is about the introduction to data science, and the second is the resource person has covered like some tools for data sciences like that. And yesterday,
What tool they covered, madam? What tool they covered?
uh, like
Python covered, sir. Python, using
Okay,
Python, and that Surendran sir just given a brief about all the tools, not only related to data science,
okay,
general
okay.
tools also.
generally.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, right. That's fine.
So,
Okay, that's okay. I have no, I have gone through the title which is assigned to other
yeah,
speakers.
sir. Yeah,
Yeah, I have gone
schedule.
through it. Okay,
Uh,
just I want to know whether anybody has covered this classification or regression. Okay, no problem.
and okay,
So,
Anand Kumar sir covered deep learning and neural natural language processing.
okay. Yeah, right. Okay, I will present my screen.
Yes, sir. Yes, yes. Who is this Syed? Please mute your mic. Syed Imtiaz. Syed Imtiaz.
Requesting all the participants, please mute your audio. It will be giving a very good disturbance to request person as well as all the participants also.
Are you able to see my PPT?
Yes, sir. It
Yes,
is
sir.
visible.
Yes.
Okay, right. So once again, very good morning to everyone, and I'm sorry for that 10 minutes delay from my side. Okay,
No problem, sir. No
all
problem.
right. So the topic is, what is what is data science? Now today we are getting different terminology like data science, data analytics, then machine learning, right? There are many terminology which is coined by the people, but now the basic is the machine learning, right? Everyone knows that. After that, machine learning only, machine learning is a very old one, and then we got data mining, then you got data science, right? Then you have data analytics, right, and so on. So here when you look the data science, right? So the thing is, it's nothing new, right? If you just type, you do one thing, you just type, open a Google and type top 10 algorithms in data science, or top 10 algorithm in machine learning, or top 10 algorithm in data analytics. Well, mostly we'll get similar result. Okay, we will not find much difference. There will be difference, but it's not much. So when you look this classification and regression, right? So this classification and in machine learning, we have two. One is actually we have three categories: supervised learning. What are the three category? Anyone? What are the three categories in machine learning?
So supervised learning, unsupervised learning,
Ah,
and reinforcement learning.
thank you, sir. So there are three: supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and then the reinforcement learning. But even though you have three categories, people are focused on more on the two category, like supervised learning and unsupervised learning. Then after the introduction of deep learning, now people are focusing on reinforcement learning also. So here our job is not to discuss on reinforcement learning. You have two basically. One is supervised and unsupervised in machine learning. When you come to the data analytics, the supervised learning is called as predictive data analytics. When you come to this unsupervised learning, it is called as descriptive data analytics. Okay. Then now we have a few more, right? Prescriptive data analytics and so on. But I don't want to go into that. You will restrict our topic. So you will talk about the supervised machine learning. Okay. So what is supervised machine learning? It's nothing but the predictive data analytics. There are two methods. One is a classification. Another one is the regression. So you are going to discuss. We are going to discuss. That's why I kept the topic as predictive analytics, because we are going to discuss what is classification and what is regression. Okay. So what is supervised learning? What do you know about supervised learning? Anyone? Any idea? Anyone can unmute and you can tell me, no problem. It should be interactive session. Yeah. Label data. Samiran Banik says label data. Good. Then any other answer you can put in chat box, or you can unmute and you can tell me. No issues. Yes. Tamana Sachideva, you would like to say something? Training using samples. Sandhya Vinayagam says training using samples. Good. Then
Input pattern is used to train the network, which is
With-
associated with the output pattern.
no. Somebody is saying something, but I'm not able to get it.
Every input pattern is used to train the network, which is already associated with an output pattern.
Correct. Dr. S. Meganathan has given nice answer. What he says, you have to train the model by using training data where you will have the target value. Right. That's good. Then any other answers? Right. So you have received multiple response from the participant. It's nice. Thank you very much for your response. Simple. I want to say in one line. Okay. Machine learning. You know what is machine learning? Machine learning is nothing but machine is going to learn from the data. Okay. So when it's going to learn from the data, where you are going to give some training data to train the machine, at the time you will also give the class label. I will tell you what is class label very detailed. Don't worry about it. Okay. So here, when you look this supervised learning, or you can say somebody is going to monitor us so that it will work accordingly. You can say like that also. Somebody is going to supervise us, so you will, like you are going to write the exam, and if there is a teacher, then you will write accordingly. Otherwise, the pattern will be different. Okay, but I'm going to give you the clear-cut explanation with some numerical example as well as the practical demonstration. So then we'll come to know what it is exactly. Okay, all right. So that's why I have given name as predictive analytics. So the idea is like this. You will have what is predictive analytics and what is classification, and then what is prediction. Prediction, under the prediction only we have regression techniques, right? So we will discuss what is regression. And then if you look, if you are trying to develop some prediction model, then we have to evaluate the model by using some performance measures. Okay, I'll come to that. So phases in data analytics. You can see you are going to talk about a particular topic like predictive analytics, like where you are going to discuss a classification and then the regression, or you can say prediction. But what happens? There is a system. The system is going to learn from the data. So you have to supply the data samples to the system. Now the question is whether the data are available normally. Whether the data is available in one place. Like suppose we are doing research in image processing, medical image processing, whether we'll get the data immediately or it will be in the required format?
No, sir. No, sir.
No. Why?
Data is available on the different resources portal, but one must know how to do the pre-processing according to our requirement.
Correct. So the thing is, the data may not be available in a single place. How many people likes biryani in this participants group? Huh? No one likes biryani. Right.
I like biryani, sir.
You like biryani. Muhammad says like biryani. Correct, sir.
Yes, sir,
Right.
we do like biryani, sir.
Okay. Let us discuss. You will compare with the biryani preparation. Okay, let's just go through this slide and you can see. Now, the thing is, you want to prepare a biryani, good biryani, right? Okay. So, what is the process? Anyone knows the cooking of biryani? Anyone knows cooking about the biryani?
Sir,
Yes, sir.
Yes, I know, sir.
Too much, sir. Oh, Jayanti madam likes too much. Okay, right then. No, anyone can explain how to prepare a biryani. What is the first step? We have to, okay, KV Reddy says chicken biryani. That's good. So I think everybody is in agree. Kumar sir, if it is in offline, you have to arrange a biryani the next time.
Yes, sir. Yeah, surely, surely.
Okay. So think simple. Let us assume you like to prepare a chicken biryani. Those who are vegetarian, I am sorry. Don't mistake me. You just consider as a vegetable biryani. Okay. Now the thing is, you want to prepare a simple chicken biryani. Now you have to go to the shop. You have to buy a chicken, and you have to buy some vegetables, and you have to buy some other grocery items which are required to prepare a biryani. Now the question is, everything is available in single place? No. Chicken is available in chicken shop. Vegetable is available in vegetable shops. Okay. So like that, you have to go to different shops and you have to buy the items which are required to prepare the biryani. Like that, in our research, the data will not come to you. Okay. People will say, yeah, I'm working on deep planning. But the question comes, how much data you have? Okay. And people will say, I'm working in healthcare analytics. Do you have any the real-time healthcare data with you? That is a question. Okay. So the data will not come to you. The data will be available in different place, and you have to collect the data and then you have to extract it. So the data collection plays a vital role in our research. Okay. Without having the data, if you choose any topic, you are doing mistake. Right. So the data collection is important. So let us assume that you brought chicken and you brought rice and other items. What is the next step? What you will do next? In chicken biryani, what you will do? You will wash the item which you bought, correct? Like you will wash the rice, you will wash the chicken, and before doing that, what you will do? You will do data reduction. What do you mean data reduction? What do you mean by data reduction? What do you mean by data reduction?
Yeah, it's a process of reducing the data in terms of vertical as well as horizontal. For example, suppose I want to choose some of the feature. So according to my requirement, I can select it.
Okay. So Tirunavakar sir has given some answer, and some people have given in chat box also. Okay, removing unwanted attributes. Okay, as he said, as he pointed out, no, you can remove the attributes which are not important for your task. So in case of biryani preparations, let us assume you bought 1 kg of rice, but half kg of chicken. What is the ratio to prepare a biryani? You should be in equal ratio, correct? You should have, if it is half kg of rice, then you should have half kg of chicken. Now you have half kg of chicken and but half kg, 1 kg of rice. So what you will do? You will not consume the entire 1 kg of rice. You will take only half kg of rice. So when you come to this data analytics, you have data. You have collected some data from various data sources, but now there are some attributes. Let us take since most of us are in the academic field. I will give example like this. I have student data. Okay, I have student number, name, registration number, mobile number, address, email, and then grade. What is the task? The task is to classify the student as excellent, good, or average. Okay. Now tell me which attributes are important and which attributes are not important. The student number, registration number, and grade is important. I don't want the mobile number. I don't want the email and other information, right? So that's called as data reductions, features extractions, okay, feature selections, correct? So we will reduce the data with respect to column or row. Okay, so that is called as a data reduction. So here also in biryani preparation also you are trying to reduce the data set. Okay, you are trying to reduce the rice quantity from 1 kg to half kg. Then what is the next step? You will use as it is. You will wash the rice, you will wash the chicken. Why you have to do that? because you know that there may be some dirty, right? So you want to clean it like that, because you know that today the humans are not collecting the data. You are depending on the instruments or devices, okay, like IoT devices, and there are so many RFID. Okay, right. So you are trying to collect the data through this instrument or devices, and then you are storing it. But the question is whether the data are reliable, okay, whether the data are accurate. Okay, so you have to clean it. You have to clean it. You have to clean the data. That's called as data cleaning. Like if your data has some missing values, then you have to remove it, or you have to apply some method to replace the missing values, right? That's called as data cleaning. So here also in chicken biryani, we'll try to wash the chicken. Then what is the next? You will use the entire, let us say you brought some onion and tomato. Will you use as it is old onion and old tomato? What you will do? You will chop it, right? This is called as data transformation. Okay, what you will do? You will convert one form of data to another form of data, because the algorithm may not work, right? If you put the entire onion as a whole piece, it may not work. It may not give you the tasty. So you have to chop it, correct? Even sometimes what people used to do, they will cut the chicken also into small pieces. But normally in biryani, it will be big pieces, correct? So we have to do some data transformation. What I want to say here, you have to do the data transformation. One of the important data transformation is data standardization. If you refer IEEE paper or Elsevier paper, which is named as data standardization, what it is? Anyone? Data standardization. Which method is called as data standardization?
So data are coming from various sources. It may not be fit into our systems. What one must to do is we need to convert them into a.
Just a minute. Samiran Banik has said clearly Z score. Correct. Z score normalization. We have normalization, min max, Z score, and then decimal by scaling. So the Z score normalization is called as data standardization, right? Right. So we have to normalize the values. We have to transform one form of values into another form of values. Okay, that's called as data standardization. So in the case of chicken biryani also, what you will do? You will transform the one form of data into another form of data, like whole piece of onion into small pieces. Then what else? Then you will keep the vessel. You will integrate everything, correct? You will pour the oil, and you will pour the all this onion and chili, and you will make it fry. Then you will pour the chicken, and then rice, and so on, right? So that's called as data integration. What is data integration? Collect the data from various sources and store it in a single place. So the data pre-processing plays a major role in your data science or machine learning or data analytics. Keep in mind, knowingly or unknowingly, you people will be applying this data pre-processing. Okay, before considering your data for the actual task. Are you going for classification or prediction or clustering or time series analysis, whatever it may be, but you will be doing the data pre-processing first. Then what you will do? The methodology, which method you are going to apply to discover the pattern. Okay, like in Kerala also, the particularly whenever I used to come from Mangalore to my native place Vellore, right? The train used to stop at Kozhikode for 5 to 7 minutes. Okay, for the dinner actually. So there is a one hotel, I forgot that hotel name. That biryani is very famous. Okay, that hotel biryani. So people used to go there and they will collect the biryani, because the taste is different. But when you come to my place, you have Ambur biryani, right? It's very tasty biryani. And when you go to Dindikal side, you will get Talapakati biryani. When you go to Hyderabad, you will have Hyderabad biryani. So the methodology is different, right? You are going to discover what kind of pattern. Are you going to apply classification? You'll get some result. Are you going to apply prediction? You'll get different result. Are you going to apply the clustering? You will get different results. So which methodology you are going to follow to prepare a biryani? So in case of our data analytics, which method you are going to adopt to discover your patterns? That is very important. Okay, so let us assume that now biryani is ready. Now the biryani is ready. What is the next one? Next process? You have to serve, right? But before serving, what you have to do? I am not an expert in biryani. I prepared a biryani. My wife had a doubt whether it is biryani or not. my neighbor is expert in the biryani. So she called the neighbor and asked her to evaluate it, whether it is really biryani or something else. Okay. So what I want to say here, you have discovered the pattern. Your method, your supervised learning or unsupervised learning method discovered some patterns, but whether the patterns are useful or interesting. Okay. Let us say you are doing some prediction model for disease like COVID-19 prediction. Let us assume that you are developing some COVID-19 prediction model. Okay. So in that case, you are not the doctor. We can say my model is getting accuracy of 95, so that the model is good. No, you have to show the result, and we have to validate your model by using the domain expert, whether it is correct or wrong. Okay. So the domain expertise is very much required to understand or to interrupt or to verify your discovered patterns, right? So always you need the domain experts right here to evaluate the pattern. Once they're given their consent, then we can represent the pattern which you discovered. So this is the complete phase involved in the data analytics. Not only data analytics or data science, whatever it may be. Okay. So now, when, as I said, the machine learning is classified into supervised, unsupervised. Supervised is called as predictive data analytics, where you have two methods: classification and prediction. These two are called as predictive analytics. We have a separate topic, predictive analytics. So many people, so there are a lot of courses, online courses also there. Okay. So in that predictive analytics, we'll be learning what is classification. There are n number of algorithms under the classification. Many of you may be knowing this. Addition tree, Navy Bayesian, S support vector machine, K nearest neighbor, okay, random forest, neural network, and so on. Excuse me. So there are various classification algorithms are available. Then when you go for prediction, there you have regression. Regression is a famous statistic technique. Under the regression, we have different type of regression like linear regression, non-linear regression, multiple linear regression, then logistic regression, lasso regressions. Okay, there are different type of regression techniques are available. Okay, so what you will do, you will discuss one algorithm in the classification, and you will see some demo on that, and then you will see one examples in the one algorithm in the prediction, and you will see some demo. Okay, that is my ultimate aim. So why we have to attend this workshop? What is the reason behind that? Because earlier people used to talk about oil. Okay, the economic of the world depends on the oil, but now the economic of the world depends on data. Okay, data is the new oil. But you know that some people have stolen the Facebook data and so on, because the data is giving the powerful information, right? So the data is the new oil. So how to analyze the data? Because the data sizes are increasing day to day, right? So that's why you need this data analytics or data science or machine learning to discover or to analyze this data and to get some useful information for decision making purpose. Okay, so just I have taken some cartoon and I have shown here. You can see one slide which is interesting. Sweetheart, my neural network predicts that you and I are 98.9% compatible. Will you be my Valentine? Right. So you can, those who are not married, you can think of developing some prediction model to find the people. Okay, just I'm joking. Right. So what it means, if you have the data, then you can go for this data analytics, right? So what is PDA? Predictive analytics is the use of data, statistical algorithm, and machine learning techniques to identify the likelihood of future outcomes based on historical data. You got it? So the predictive analytics is the use of data. Okay, we'll be using the data, and we are using some statistical algorithm and machine learning techniques to identify the likelihood of future outcomes. See, it means you are trying to predict something which is unknown to us based on some empirical data. That's called as predictive analytics. So the ultimate aim of PDA is what has happened to providing a best assessment of what will happen in the future. That is the ultimate goal of the PDA, predictive analytics. So when you look the predictive analytics, there are two types of models. Okay. So predictive models use known results to develop. So I think Dr. Meghanathan sir said well said. We can train the model by using some target value. Correct. So predictive models use known results to develop a model that can be used to predict values for different or new data that you are going to discuss. So there are two types of predictive models. One is the classification model, which predicts the class membership. Okay, and the regression model, which predicts a number. Or you can say like this. I think I have one more. Yeah, this slides we can go. What is the difference between classification and prediction? Classification, which predicts categorical class labels. Okay, or you can say discrete data. Prediction, which models continuous valued functions. You know that there are data is classified into two: categorical data and continuous data. Okay, or you can say discrete and continuous. Right. So what is that categorical? It's nothing but grouping the data based on some range. For example, I have age of course people. So I want to group it: the young people, middle-aged people, old people. So the people whose age less than 30 are called as young, and 31 to 50 is middle, then greater than 50 is old. So here I am trying to group, okay, based on that age range. That's called as categorical data. Okay. Then what about this continuous? Continuous is nothing but anything can be measured physically, right? Okay. So here it's nothing but your numerical values, right? So prediction is nothing but whenever the class label is numerical, then you can go for prediction. Okay. So what is classification? Classification is a process which predicts unknown class label. Okay. Classification is a process which predicts unknown class label. What do you mean by prediction? Prediction, which models continuous valued functions, or you can say which predicts unknown or missing values. To understand further, you must know what is class label. Any idea what is class label? Which one is the class label in your data set? I will show you one example, so you will get clear picture. Just a minute. Somebody is giving some response. Output data. What do you mean by output data, madam? Any other answers? I'll check it. Class label. Okay. 1 minute. Just 1 minute. Are you able to see my Excel sheet?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Are you able to see my Excel sheet?
Yes, sir.
Okay, right.
Yes.
So now you can see this is the one famous example. Some people may be knowing this. Here you can see this is a simple data set. Okay, small data set. This is one use case like bank use case. Like people are applying for a credit card, because you know that today our life is running by credit card and EMI. Correct. Now many people are applying for credit card. So what the manager decided, the same customer already availed some bank loan, like a personal loan or housing loan or car loan. So they will be paying some EMI. So based on that, he wants to know whether the customer is genuine or not genuine customer. Okay. So for that he has taken 3 parameters: refund, whether the customer is paying the existing loan EMI regularly or not. Yes means yes, the customer is paying EMI regularly. No means he is not paying the EMI regularly. Irregular EMI payment. Then marital status, you know that if it is if you are married, more committed, right? So it is very difficult to pay the EMI. Because of that, some months you may be missing some EMI, correct? So the another parameter is the marital status, whether you are single or married. Then the third parameter is taxable income. Okay, what is the income? Greater than 8, you have taken some threshold 80K or less than 80K. Based on that, you want to know whether the customer will cheat or not. So cheat is another attribute. No means the customer will not cheat. Yes means yes, he is a fraud customer. Okay, this is the explanation about this data set. Right, now tell me, I want to classify the customer into good customer and then bad customers. Which attribute I can do that? Which attribute I can do that in the given data? Which attribute I can classify the customer as a genuine or not genuine customer? Any idea? Cheat. Dr. Rajani says cheat. Sandhya Vinayagam says cheat. Samiran Banik says cheat. Thank you. So what is the understanding here? Based on this cheat attribute, we can classify the customer into good customer or bad customers. Correct. So this attribute is called as decision attribute. This attribute is called as decision attribute, or you can call it as class label, okay, or label attribute. Three name: decision attribute, or label attribute, or class label attribute. Okay. So class label is nothing new. One of the attribute in our data set is called as a class label. Okay, that attribute is used to classify your data set. Okay, so it's very easy to identify which attribute is the class label. Okay, right. Then what about this attribute? Serial number, refund, marital status, and taxable income. These attributes are called as. Any idea? Conditional attribute. Predictors, okay, which are used to predict the value, okay, or dependent attributes. You can't say dependent attributes, madam, because we can say it's a conditional attribute. Okay, some attributes may be independent, so it may not be a dependent. Sandhya Vinayagam, madam. Okay, so these are called as conditional attributes. So we have two type of attributes in the data set basically. Decision attribute, another one is conditional attribute. Okay, right? So this is called as a class label. I hope now you got the idea what is class label. Okay, now what is the idea? What is supervised learning? The data is given to the machine. The machine is going to learn, and where you are supplying this class label, the target value to the machine. Okay, so the machine will learn accordingly, and then let us assume I have one more data set. You see this, I will just what happened here? This is the new applicant received by the manager. 14 applicant have applied for credit card. Now he wants to take a decision. So this is the old record. Already he has some data. This data is given to the machine learning expert. He asks the machine learning expert to develop a model, prediction model. Okay. Then now you are going to apply our machine learning, and you are going to develop a model. By using that model, you have to predict this 14 applicant, whether these guys or these people are cheating people or not cheating people. Okay, so here for the 14 applicant, the class label is missing. So what is classification? How it is defined? Classification is a process which predict unknown class label. Okay, here the class label is unknown for this 14 applicant that you want to predict. I hope it is clear. So classification is a process which predicts unknown class label. Clear? This is a definition for classification. Now, how to do that? How to predict this 14 applicant? That you are going to see. Now, before going to that, I will show the one more example. Now here you can see the cheat is yes or no. Okay. Instead of giving like this, if I say 80% is a cheat or 40 numerical data. So here the data are categorical. The data are categorical. So we'll go for classification. Suppose another example. Okay, another example like student. I think I have one more. 1 minute. Okay, I don't have. Okay, I will open new one. Suppose here, I hope my notepad is visible to you. I have example like this: student number, student name, and then the mark. Okay. Now let us say 1 Raj, and then mark is some 80. 2 Kumar, 90. 3 Sundar, let us say 60. 4 Priya, let us say 70. Okay. Now I want to classify my student as excellent, good, and average. Okay. So in this case, now the class label is mark. Now what about the value? Values are continuous. Okay. Then I can go for prediction. Right. So now I have one more student who is joining. Let us say Ravi. Okay. And let us have some more information here so that it will be meaningful. Let us have quiz and assignment marks. Based on that, the mark is computed. Let us assume like that. So quiz is for, let us say 50-50. You'll have, this is 40 and this is 40, and this is some 45. Let us say, for easy understanding, I'm giving like this. Sundar some 30 and 30, and this is some 35 and 35. Okay, so this is the data. That's the numerical data. Now there is a Ravi. The quiz mark is some 25 and assignment is some 32. What will be the mark? What will be the mark? Sorry. What will be the mark? Right? So we want to predict it. So this is the data where this is the class table. It is numerical values. Right? So in this case, you will go for prediction. So prediction is a process which predicts missing numerical value. Right? Prediction is a process which predicts missing numerical value. Classification is a process which predicts missing unknown, or you can say which predicts unknown class label. That's it. Classification is used for categorical, and I have already given example, backing example, and prediction is used for numerical, the student exam. I hope it is clear what is classification and prediction. Okay, then so used in many applications like credit approval, target marketing, medical diagnosis, fraud detection. Wherever you want to develop a prediction model, forecasting models, you can go for classification and prediction. There is no doubt on that. Okay, right. And there are various tools we have. There are various tools you have to implement this classification and prediction. Like what are the tools you have? People are using Python. Then what else? What else you have? Or then because I have to see the message, that's why I'm Excel, MATLAB. So there are various data analytics tools we have. 1 minute. You can see this. I hope it is visible to you. Like no, there is a company called SPSS. They have released two products, SPSS Clementine and SPSS Statistics. SPSS Clementine used to support all our data analytics methods, and SPSS Statistics also used to support, right? But the IBM took over the company. Now this Clementine is named as IBM PSW Modeler, Predictive Analytical Software, and this is called as IBM Statistics. And then SAS Miner, it's a well-known tool, and most of the MNC company they are using it. Very costlier tool. Then you have Statistica DB Miner. Okay, and now it is called. It is renamed now. Okay, earlier it is called as Statistica DB Miner. Now it is called as Grid Analytics. The tool name is called as Grid Analytics. Then the Rapid Miner, which we are going to show today, which you are going to see today, and then the Veka, it's a famous tool developed in Java, and then R is a statistical software. It supports data analytics and big data analytics and so on. Then we have another important tool called Cython, which is nothing but Python, because which is dominating the world. So I used to call it as Cython instead of Python always. Okay. So you can use any one of the tool to analyze your data set. Okay. So what is our idea is you want to use the Rapid Miner here. You want to use the Rapid Miner here. Okay. Now, so how to get the Rapid Miner tool? Any idea? Anybody's used this Rapid Miner tool so far? Yeah, somebody says great TensorFlow, Veka. Anybody's used Rapid Miner as of now? Any response from the participant? Jobin Joe says no. Anybody has used the Rapid Miner tool? Do you know about this? Or it is a new tool for you? Okay. Okay. So I will assume that you are not aware of this tool, right? Why I have to insist this tool? Why not Python? Any idea? Okay. How many of you are good in Python? I hope everybody is doing using Python, right? Okay. But the ultimate aim of the Rapid Miner, why I am insisting Rapid Miner, there are two things. There are people who are not good in coding. For them, they can use this tool, number one. Number two, for everything, no need to write from the scratch. You can do some data pre-processing in this tool, and then whatever the algorithm which you want to propose, that you can write in your own code by using Python. Number three, we can integrate Python with the Rapid Miner. So you can use the functionality from the Rapid Miner. And apart from that, if you want to write your own coding in Python, that also you can do it. Then fourth, no sir, I'm not good in Python, but I'm good in R. Yes, it is also supporting R. You can integrate R programming with Rapid Miner. Okay. And you can integrate Veka with Rapid Miner. And we can do all these machine learning techniques and deep learning techniques in the Rapid Miner. So it has its own advantages. That's why they have released as an open source, but now it is commercial. Okay. Yeah, Samiran Banik asked immediately whether it is a free tool. I'll come to that. Yes, it's a free tool for us, not for everyone. How? The Rapid Miner Forum as giving the education license to the instructor, student, research community, research scholars, and faculties. Right? So where to get the tool? I'll open a browser where you can see Rapid Miner. Are you able to see my browser? Are you able to see my browser? Anyone can respond.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. It is slow. 1 minute. I have not typed properly. Yeah. Kindly note down this website link name rapidminer.com. Okay, even I'll put in the chat box. Somebody said they use the tool also. Just wait a minute, it seems so. Yeah, this is a site where you can see where you can download this tool. Just click this get started. Light expand. Yeah, you can see here rapid manner go rapid manner. This educational program is for us. Okay, here we can use the studio as your education license. Okay, so for this we have to apply now. Apply now, and it will ask some information like this. You have to give your university mail so that it's a proof for that you are a faculty or a student. Okay, and role, you just click the role, whether you are a student or professor, instructor or researcher. Okay, research scholars can use the researcher. Student MTech students can use it as a student, and faculty can use professor or instructor. Name of the university. You may be having some courses which is related to data science, data mining, machine learning. Enter the course number, term, course term, who is handling that course, and then download. Okay, after downloading, install it. Then the mail which you gave, for that mail will get the activate link. Just click that so that the tool will be get activated. If you have any problem, let me know. You can write a mail to me. I will explain. Okay, so this is the way to get this tool and install the tool. Okay, let us assume we have installed the tool. I hope you are able to see this RapidMiner window now. It will come like this. Okay, so I want to prepare my own model, so I will go for blank. Okay, so this is the environment of RapidMiner. This is the environment of RapidMiner. You can see here, and this is called as a process area. This is called as process area. This white space. I used to always divide the RapidMiner into 4 areas. Process area is the central one, the white place, and then you can see in the left corner repository area. Repository area is nothing but where you can store your data and where you can store your process. And operator area, it's very important. How they have did this tool, they have implemented all the functionality as operator. For example, I want to read the data, there is a read operator. I want to write the data, I have an operator. I want to implement Navy Bayesian algorithm, yes, I have an operator. I want to implement KNN classification, yes, I have an operator. Okay, so all the functionalities are converted as an operator. Now our job is to integrate and create the process and execute it, so that the process will be executed and the patterns will be discovered. Okay, it's clear. And whenever you add the operator, always as a human being, as an end user, you have to give some input to that system. For example, let us take K-means clustering. You know that K-means clustering is the famous clustering algorithm, which comes under unsupervised learning. Where what is K? K is nothing but number of cluster. So that K should be supplied by the user. Even you can take classification KNN, K nearest neighbor. What is the K? Number of neighbor. Okay, so that K should be supplied by the end users. So to supply such a kind of input, you have parameters with area. It's called as parameter area. Okay, if you add any operator, then immediately we can able to set some parameters for that particular operator. Right? Let us see how to read a data first. See, you can see under the operator search box, you can, if you know the name of the tool, you can type. Let us say I want to have read. If I type read, you can see under the data access files, read, we have read CSV, read Excel, read URL, read SPSS, read SPAS, read AR, XRFF, read DBase, database, and so on. Okay. So now I want to use read Excel. Drag and drop. How to add this operator here? You have to drag and drop, or what you can do, you can just double click it so that the operator will get added in the process area. So read Excel, because my data are in Excel, so that's why I'm using read Excel. Okay, so whatever the format of your data, accordingly you choose that operator. Now read Excel, so I would like to read the file. So you can see now I have added the read Excel operator. Just keep your cursor on the read Excel. You can see the parameters for read Excel. So the first one is the Excel file. Which file you would like to read? Kindly locate the file. So just I given that location of the file. Then you know that Excel made up of sheets, right? So which sheet number or sheet name? Okay, so I want to give sheet number. By default, sheet 1 is going to have the data. Suppose if you like to access the sheet 2, then you have to give 2. Then cell range also you can give. Okay, so these are some of the parameters you have to supply. Then if you look the operator has one input port and output port. Since this is a read Excel, you are going to use only the output port. It should be connected with the result port. If you want to see the result, there will be a result here. It's called as a result port. Okay, you have to connect. Then how to execute? You can see under the menu bar there is a blue icon, or you can press F11. Run the process. Now you can see this is the way to read the data. This is the way to read the data now. Clear? So we have the serial number and then the refund, marshal status, taxable income, and cheat. Correct? This is a way to read a data in RapidMiner. It's a very simple process. Okay. Now, so I have read the data. I have shown you how to read the data in RapidMiner. But I'll go back here. What you have to do in the supervised learning, the data to be divided into training and testing. The data to be divided into training and testing. Correct? How to do that? Any idea? Yes. Network is there. How to divide the data into how to divide the data? What is the ratio? Yes, training and testing, madam. But what is the ratio you used to follow? 80 and 0. Sorry, I think 80 and 20. Okay. Then 70. Sarvana Kumar sir says 70. Nayan, Nitish, Jitesh says 70, 60, 40. Jayanti madam says 75, 25. K-fold. Okay, good. Right. So what you can do, thanks for your response. What you can do, you can divide the data, this ratio, as you suggested, 80-20. Most of the research community people follows the ratio 80-20. And some people use 70-30. Okay, 60-40 is not recommended. You can use any one of this ratio. But when you do it manually, what will happen? Your data set will be unbalanced data set. Your data set will be unbalanced. Like sometimes the model will be overfitting or unfitting. Okay, why it happens? Because of this unbalanced data set. What do you mean by unbalanced data set? Any idea? Let us say, take this example. We have cheat. Cheat is a class label, right? We have two classes, right? Cheat is equal to S is the one class, cheat is equal to no is another class. Two classes. Let us say, so there are 10 tuples here, right? Out of 10 tuples, I am going to consider 7 tuples, 70-30 I'm going to follow. 7 tuples as training, 3 tuples as testing. Okay. So while deciding, I have taken all the no classes as training. S class is a testing. Now tell me, I'm going to build the model by using any one of the, let's say I have applied Navy Bayesian on this training data. I got the model. And now tell me the model will predict the S class. It will not predict because the model is trained with only no class. S class is not there. Say the model doesn't know how to classify the S class. Correct? So that is called as unbalanced data set. So if you do manually like 80-20 and 70-30, you will get an unbalanced data set. Okay. So instead of that, as somebody says scaffold, it's called as crash validation. Crash K validation. Okay, you can call it as a crash validation or crash K validation. Okay, what it does, it divides your data into training and testing. Okay, by you performing number of fold. Okay, that K is nothing but the number of fold. How many fold you want to execute to split your data as training and testing, right? So the crash K validation divides your data into training and testing. Okay, is it clear? Now you go back to this tool. I would like to use crash validation. Okay, here I'm going to have some operator for crash validation. I have added here. So what is the first job? Read the data. Then I want to divide, because we are talking about classification and we are talking about prediction. Okay, so our idea is to develop one good prediction model. So supply this data as input here. Supply this data as input here. Okay. Now you you just keep your cursor on crash validation. You can see on the right hand side, crash validation. Number of fold is 10. You can increase or decrease. And sampling type, which type you are applying? Linear sampling, shuffled sampling, slide field sampling, or automatic. Okay, right? So the crash, what it does, it divides your data into training and testing. And if you see this operator, the operator is something different. It is not, see, the read Excel is a single line operator, but the crash validation is double line operator. The crash validation is the double line operator. Crash, this is a double line operator. So what it means, if it is a double line operator, it is a nested operator. Okay, so it means it has some more functionality inside. That is the meaning of it. You have to double click it. Now you can see or able to see that you have two windows. The window is split into training and testing. Are you able to see that? Hope you are able to see. Training and testing. Go back. We are initially here. We have read Excel to read the data. I have added crash validation to divide the data into training and testing. Double click this. You will get this window, training and testing. Now come back. So we have applied the crash validation. You have divided the training and testing. Now we have training phase and testing phase. Okay, what you will do in the training phase? We have training data with the class label, correct? And on this, we have to apply any ML algorithm. Instead of saying ML, you have to say SML, supervised machine learning algorithm. Okay, like your classification or your prediction, like Navy Bayesian, K nearest neighbor, decision tree, okay, and so on. So you have to apply any one of the supervised machine learning algorithm on your training data. Then it will give you the model. The outcome of it will be nothing but the model, or you can call it as a classifier. That you will do now. Go back to the tool. Now you are in training phase. So what did you do? You have to apply any supervised learning algorithm on this training data. See here, there is a port. This port supplies the training data. This port supplies the testing data. Okay. Now you have training data and testing data. What do you have to do? You have to apply your supervised machine learning algorithm on this training data. So, like, you can see under the operator modeling. Modeling is nothing but all your functionality, machine learning functionality or data science functionality. Click this modeling. Are you able to see? First one is predictive. It means it is nothing but your supervised learning. Okay. Then segmentation is nothing but, what is segmentation? Segmentation is another name for clustering. Then association, correlation, similarity, time series. There are so many things are there. So click this predictive. Click this predictive. And you can see there are various methods, support vector machines, logistic regression, neural networks, rules, trees, Bayesian, lazy, and so on. Now let us say I would like to apply Bayesian here. So Navy Bayesian. Add this here. So I would like to apply a Navy Bayesian classification algorithm on my training data. So connect this, apply this training data as input. Okay. What happened here? Okay. Why I'm getting this error? I'll come to that. I have applied the Navy Bayesian here. Okay. Then you can see, are able to see that error? Input example set must have special attribute label. Are you able to see that error? Input example set must have special attribute label. What it means? Any idea? Target variable as more observation. It means you have to inform the system in your data set which attribute is the class label or target variable. Okay, that we have to inform to the system. That you have not done. That's why it's showing the error. How to do that in rapid manner? Go back. Go back. While reading the data, that you have to do. So there are two ways. One is simply you can locate the file here and then you can do it. Or you can see, if you keep your cursor on read Excel, are you able to see that import configuration wizard here? You just double click this. Instead of reading the data here, whenever you go for predictive analytics, that is supervised learning, don't use this method. Don't locate your file directly. Use import configuration wizard. Why? I will tell you. So we'll get the first window. The first window shows which sheet has the data and what is the cell range and so on. So you are not going to do anything. Go to the next. This window is very important. Format your columns. You can do 4 things here. Okay. One is replace error with missing values. You can do if you have, okay, you don't have any missing values here. And you can exclude the column. The serial number is not going to play any role like data reduction, right? So exclude column, so it will not be considered. And if you want to change the type of the data, you can do that. Polynomial, binomial, real integer. Okay. And then change role is important. You know that, sorry, these are the attributes. And among these attributes, cheat is the label attribute. So we have to set this attribute as the class label. So click change role. It is the label. Okay. Why you have to set this? Which attribute is the label attribute in your data set? That you have to inform to the system whenever you are trying to develop any prediction model. Click, then finish. Now see, there is no error here. Now it's correct. Now, so what happens? What you are trying to do? We have training data and you apply the supervised machine learning algorithm on this training data. You got the model here. Now the model to be supplied. So the model comes here. Okay. You have model and you have testing data. Now come back to this Excel. So what you did, you have divided the data into training and testing, and then in the training phase, you have applied a Navy Bayesian algorithm on the training data. You got the model. Now model is ready. But you want to see the performance of the model. How far the developed model is good. Okay. So for that, you already have a testing data. In testing data also, you will have the class label. Keep in mind. Testing data also will have the class label. Okay. So this model, whatever the model which you built, the model will be applied on the testing data to see the performance. Okay. So I will show you in the rapid manner. So there is a one operator called apply model. Connect this model as the input because you want to apply this model on this testing data. So supply the testing data as another input. Okay. Then it gives the label. it applies the model on the testing data, it predicts the labels once again. Okay, then you know that how to evaluate the performance of the model. There are some performance measures in the classification like accuracy, precision, recall, F-score, ROC curve, and so on. Okay, so I want to see the performance of the model. The performance, sorry. Okay, substitute, forward this labels to here and see the performance. Oh, it shows error. Oh, it's disconnected. Okay. I repeat, what you did in testing. Testing, we have applied the built model on the testing data to see the performance. Okay, so same thing I'm doing here also. I have applied the model on this developed model on testing data. I got the labels. By using the labels, I want to see the performance. Okay, you can keep the cursor on performance. You can see accuracy is by default is enabled. If you want to know the classification error, you can enable it. If you want to know the recall, you can enable it. Precision, you can enable it. Okay, then so if you, this is where you are inside the cross validation. Inside the cross validation, we have training phase and testing phase. Training phase, we have applied the machine learning algorithm and we build the model. In the testing phase, we have applied the developed model on the testing data and you have checked the performance. Okay, so now you have to go back to the previous design. So you can see the blue icon, which is used to move from this area to the previous design. Click. Right, so this is the cross validation. So I want to apply, I want to see the model, I want to see the performance. Okay, right, so whatever you want to see, you can run the process. Are you able to see that you are getting accuracy 60%, and this is the confusion matrix for this result. Okay, I will explain you the confusion matrix later. It's clear? So the accuracy is 60. What is the classification error? 1 minus accuracy, that is 40%. And this is the recall. And then this is precision. Okay, so this is a way to develop a prediction model here. Clear? So what you did here, you have applied a model, you have applied one classification model. I have not explained any theoretical concept. I have shown you how to implement rapid manner. Now I will explain the theoretical concept behind the Naive Bayesian. Okay, before going to that, you must know this is Naive Bayesian. You can use any models. For example, I want to use decision tree. Yes, remove this, delete, simple decision tree. You can see under the predictive tree, decision tree. Okay, model. Correct? Right. So we have connected the training data to the machine learning algorithm. Here we have used decision tree as a supervised machine learning algorithm. Now you run the process, you see the accuracy. We got 60 for Naive Bayesian. For decision tree, it is very less, 40. So you can also see the decision tree. Decision tree, the outcome will be the tree. Okay, correct. Now I will change this further. Other classification model. Let us say predictive. Let us say KNN, K nearest neighbor. So here, what is K? K is 5 neighbors. If you want to change, you can change it. And the process. This gives 50%. Okay, right? So like this, you can change it. You can change and see the result. Clear? Up to this is clear. This is the way to build a model. Let us replace this by random forest. What is random forest? Random forest is a combination of the decision tree, right? We will have multiple decision tree. Number of trees, let us say instead of 100, you will produce simple 20. See, it gives 70% accuracy. So it gives better accuracy. Okay. And this is a tree. You can see in the random forest, multiple tree will be there, right? 20 tree I given, right? So it's a but the background is the decision tree algorithm concept. What is decision tree? In decision tree, the important step is to find the splitting attribute. Which attribute is the will act as a splitting attribute? Root node. Okay, for that, we have various measures. In decision tree, there are 3 algorithms. ID3, I think it is there. ID3, C4.5, and CART. In ID3, you are using measure called information gain. You will compute the information gain for all the attribute. The attribute which gives the maximum information gain will be considered as a splitting attribute. And then the attribute which gives that is for ID3. For C4.5, we have gain ratio. We will compute the gain ratio for all the attribute. The attribute which gives maximum gain ratio will be considered as a splitting attribute. What about CART? It's a third type of algorithm, CART. There you will compute Gini index. You will use Gini index as a measure. You will compute for all the attributes. The attribute which provides least Gini index will be considered as a splitting attribute. In case of ID3 and C4.5, you will consider for maximum information gain and maximum gain ratio. But in case of CART, we will consider minimum Gini index. Okay. Right. So you can see here criteria random forest, which one is you are using? Gain ratio, information gain, Gini index. Which one you are trying to use? Okay. And you can choose any one of this. Right. Now, what I have done, I have just built the model. But what is classification? Classification is a process which predicts unknown class label. Now, I have built the prediction model, but I have not used it. I have not used this model to predict the unknown data set. That I am going to show you now. I have already shown this data to you. This is a new applicant received by the manager. He wants to develop a prediction model to predict what will be the value of cheat. So I am going to supply this data as the input to my model which I developed, and I want to see the result. Okay. So I'll go back. And you can see here, so that we will complete, and then in the next session I will talk about the other algorithm. So you have the model here. Okay, I want to apply this model on my new data set. So I am going to use one more read Excel because I want to read the new data. Okay, now as I told you, whenever you go for supervised learning, use import configuration wizard. Look for the data. You can see here the cheat is question mark. It means which is unknown to us. Okay, but we have to inform to the system this is the label. Okay, so change role, label, finish. So we have read the data. Now what is the process? Here you can see you have built the model. Let us assume that the performance of the model is good. So I want to apply this model on the new data set where the class level is unknown. That only you are doing now. So I have such a data here where the class level is unknown, like I have shown, right? This one. This data is available here. Now I want to predict what will be the cheat by using the model which I developed. So once again, apply model. Okay, so cut, disconnect, and supply this model as the one input. Supply this model as the one input, and the Excel data, your new data, where the class level is unknown, to try to supply this is another input. Okay, now this model will predict the labels and it will show you that you will see now. And this is the model. If you want to see the model, you can connect that also. Now you can see there are 14 records the manager has received. Okay, he wants to predict whether the person will be cheating or not. Now see, the algorithm has predicted. You got the values. Earlier for 14 records, it's empty. This one. This is empty record. Now we have values. We have values now. The first record, it is no. Second record also no. It means he will not cheat. But fifth record, he may be cheating. Like that. Okay. So what you did, we have seen a complete prediction model by using various classification algorithms. Here I use random forest. Okay, right? Because the random forest gives the better accuracy than the other classification algorithm. Okay, so it computed the confidence for no class is 8.800, for S class, sorry. Okay, so it is 1 and 1, 1, 0 and 1, 0. So this is maximum. That's why it belongs to no class. What about this? 0.950, 0.050, which is greater than this. So no. What about this? Oh, it has taken all the no class and S class. This is S class. You can see here this value, no class it is 0.50, but for S class it is 0.950, which is greater than this. So that's why it is S class. So this is a way to predict the unknown class label using your prediction model. Your prediction model is developed with the help of the random forest classification algorithm. Now I want to see the result. I would like to change here, like in Naive Bayesian. Let us say, change the algorithm, how it works. Bayes. Now see, there may be some changes in the result. Okay, right? So what is the logic of Bayesian algorithm? The logic of Bayesian algorithm is compute the probability for each class with respect to data sample X. Which class produces the maximum probability? The sample belongs to that class. Okay. So for the first example, for no class, the probability value is 0.918. For S class, it is 0.08. Which one is maximum? No class is maximum. That's why the no is the result of prediction. Okay, like that here, if you take fifth row, for S class, the probability value is 0.677. For no class, it is 0.323. Which one is maximum? S class is maximum. That's why you have S. Right. So this is the way you try to develop a prediction model by using rapid manner. I repeat, if you have data, first the training data. Okay. If you have data, the data is divided into training and testing by using cross validation. So this is a training phase and testing phase. The training phase, we have applied your classification algorithm. Okay, it can be any algorithm, but it depends upon type of data, it will change. For example, if you apply neural network, it will only work for numerical data. It may not work here. So you have to transform the data, then you have to apply neural network. Okay, take care of it or explore it. Then, so you apply the classification algorithm on the training data, you get the model. Then apply this model on testing data to see the performance. Once the performance is good, then use this model to predict the unknown data set here, which is there in the read Excel 2. As of now, any doubt? As of now, any doubt?
Sir, we will take break.
Yes. So what you will do, you will have a break now, and you will continue at, sorry, it should be at 12, right? Kumar sir?
12
At 12 o'clock we'll start.
sir, yes.
Since it is my session, so I will take it in my flow only. So we will discuss one.
No problem. No problem.
Yeah. So we will discuss the algorithm, the classification algorithm, and then we will start because neural network also one of the classification algorithm only. So the second session which talks about neural network. But before that, we will discuss one Bayesian algorithm. Then we'll move to neural network. Okay. I think the demo wise I have shown, and the theoretical wise I want to show you one example. Okay. So thank you very much. Have a break.
வெங்கடேஷ் சார்
Yes, sir.
சார் எப்படி இருக்கீங்க?
யாரே ஒரு நிமிஷம் இருங்க. I will see your face. Yes, sir. Good. Rajesh, sir.
யா
நல்லா இருக்கு சார், நல்லா இருக்கு. நீங்க எப்படி இருக்கீங்க?
நல்லா இருக்கும் சார். இப்பதான் நான் பேசினேன் சார் அன்குமார் சார் கிட்ட.
அருண்குமார் சார் பேசுனீங்களா? வெரி குட், வெரி குட். சார் சொல்லிருக்காங்க நிறைய நாங்க பேசுவோம்.
ஆமா, மீட் பண்ண முடியல.
ஆமா சார், அதுக்கு அமையல ஒன்னும் சரியா. பக்கத்து பக்கத்துல தான் இருக்கோம், பட் ஒன்னும் மீட் பண்ண முடியல.
சார் சொல்லுவாரு அடிக்கடி.
அப்படிங்களா? ரைட் சார், ரைட் சார்.
கண்டிப்பா கோவிட் எல்லாம் முடிஞ்சதுக்கு அப்புறம் மீட் பண்ணுவோம் சார்.
கட்டாயம் சார். He is my guru sir. He is the motivator for me, and because of him I am sitting in front of you. I can say like okay. Thanks to God to give such a nice guru for me.
இப்போ எப்படி கிளாஸ் எல்லாம் அங்க போகுதுங்களா சார்?
Yes sir, everything is going on sir in NITK. Everything is going on. And yes sir, through online only.
Online model.
But they have asked us to return back, and so most of them, it is a residential campus, no? So most of them are there only. Only few of us in outside, but everybody is returned. But I had some special exemption, and then I am here.
Okay.
Probably in the month of January, I will go back to Bangalore.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Right, sir. How are you, sir?
Thank you, sir. Going on fine, sir. Everything going on fine. We see with some other works.
Okay.
Work.
But it's very difficult. No, initially, Kasaragod, there are a lot of COVID cases, and I think you might have had a tough time there. Right, sir. Take care,
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, sir. We'll ask any doubts from participant side.
Okay.
Participants, if you have any doubts for this session, please ask, or else we'll wind up this session and we will start 12 o'clock. I think, sir, there is no doubts. We can clear next session also, sir, if anything is there.
Yes, sir. Let them give the queries. I will answer it.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
sir.
Thank you.
We'll meet again 12 o'clock.
Okay, sir. Right. Thank
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you. Participants, all of you fill the attendance link posted in the chat box. So attendance link is available. You can ask up to 10 minutes also I will provide. You have to fill here only. No way we will provide the link, attendance link. You have to fill here only. If anybody not filled, please send a message in chat box. Okay, we'll meet in the second session at 12 o'clock. So it is both attendance and feedback, both are there. Your name itself is an attendance and feedback also there, you can give.